We have all read the fictional stories of mysterious cities, towns, and villages that were ghosted and hidden away from the public. But what if I told you that such things also exist in reality? We have mysterious buildings that hold secrets that were never meant to be discovered. In this video, we will take you through 7 intriguing cases and show you the side of history you were not supposed to see. St. George's Church, located in Lukova, Czech Republic, was built in 1352 in Lukova in the Czech Republic. Ever since it was established, the church has experienced many fires that have caused damage to the building. After each destructive episode, the church was eventually rebuilt, but this earned it a bad reputation and led to an association with darkness from the very beginning. However, the final blow came in 1968 when its roof collapsed during a funeral service. This event led many people to believe that the church was haunted, and it has been abandoned ever since. The mysterious church building remained isolated for many years as nobody wanted anything to do with it until an artist named Jacob Petrava from the local area decided to preserve the building by turning it into an art installation. He created 9 plaster figures which he placed in the pews, giving the church the nickname Church of the Nine Ghosts. Petrava called his work My Mind, and it has become a popular tourist attraction. Since then, more ghostly figures have been added to the original 9. With an estimated age of around 5,000 years, this next village on our list is a rare example of life during pre-Celtic times. Skara Brae is a prehistoric village that is located on the Orkney Islands in Scotland. Despite being abandoned long ago, the village remains a mystery with no clear explanation as to why it was deserted. Some people believe that an apocalyptic event might have something to do with it, but it's just a theory with not a lot of proof backing it up. But the more important question here is, how was the place rediscovered? Well, in 1850, a severe storm hit Scotland which caused a lot of damage in the area and claimed the lives of over 200 people. But it was this storm which revealed the outline of a village in the Bay of Skyle that consisted of small houses without roofs, and soon after, villagers started referring to the site as Skara Brae. Naturally, the emergence of this newly found village sparked curiosity among geologists like William Watt, who started to excavate the site. He uncovered 4 houses but stopped working in 1868. Nobody else touched the site until 1913 when people using shovels plundered it over a weekend, taking various artifacts. Then in 1924, another storm damaged part of one of the houses. Authorities secured and investigated the site, and in mid-1927, the University of Edinburgh's Professor V. Gordon Childe visited Skara Brae for the first time, and this is how the long-lost village was eventually found and inhabited again, even though no one was supposed to find it. Woodchester Mansion is a neo-Gothic mansion that is located in the stunning Cotswolds region of England. It is a building that was never completed and was abandoned midway through construction back in 1873. Interestingly, from the outside, it appears as though the mansion is complete, but as you look closely, it becomes clear that floors, plaster, and entire rooms are missing from the interior. Despite its unfinished state, Woodchester Mansion has become a popular tourist destination for several reasons. Firstly, it is home to a colony of approximately 200 greater horseshoe bats who reside in the attic of the mansion. The mansion is one of the few remaining places in England where these bats can be found. Secondly, the mansion is host to various Halloween parties and paranormal nights, which attract tourists from all over the world. Some visitors have even reported seeing uniform-wearing spirits and hearing echoes of 1940s music in the hallways. The mansion was temporarily used as a morgue during wartime, which is believed to be the source of the music. The Mezhyhirya residence, located in Ukraine, which was once an extravagant home to Viktor Yanukovych, the former Ukrainian president. During his time in power, the public was not allowed access. The lavish property was surrounded by pristine gardens, a private zoo, a golf course, and even a helicopter pad. The residence also had an impressive collection of luxurious cars, a private cinema, and a vast wine cellar. However, after Yanukovych was removed from office in 2014, the Mezhyhirya estate was open to the public, and it was only after this that the world was finally able to see the corruption and extravagance that had been hidden behind its walls for years. Today, visitors can now take a guided tour of the estate, which includes a peek into the former president's mansion, the collection of vintage automobiles, and the private zoo, giving insight into the lifestyle and corruption of the former Ukrainian president, but back in the time nobody was supposed to find out what was actually going on in the building. This is the chilling case of the neo-Gothic building in Celle, Belgium, which was also known as Chateau de Noisy and was constructed between 1886 and 1907. The original plan behind its construction was for the wealthy Liedekerk de Beaufort family to use it as their summer home. However, the building was eventually taken away and used as a base by the Nazis during World War II, and at one time, a number of German soldiers were living in it. Nothing particularly creepy about this, of course, because if you know anything about the Nazis, you know this would be a normal thing for them to do. But what happened after within the walls of the building is what eventually turned the building into a ghostly, mysterious place. Shortly after being taken over by the Nazis, the chateau became one of the places where the Battle of the Bulge was fought, which meant that a large number of men died there. The thoughts of the spirits of all those dead soldiers roaming around the abandoned building is unsettling to say the least. However, the chateau's dark history does not end there. After the war ended, the chateau building was repurposed as a place for sick children to stay. It was referred to as a holiday camp, but was far from the sunny and joyful place that children typically associate with holidays. Many children who stayed there were seriously ill and did not recover, which only added to the chateau's association with death and tragedy. Despite its grim history, the chateau remained standing for many years, attracting urban explorers and ghost hunters from all over the world. However, in 2017, the Belgian government finally decided to demolish the chateau due to safety concerns. While the decision was necessary, it also meant that the many ghosts that had made the chateau their home were now homeless. Fort Douaumont is a fortress located near Verdun, France. It was built after the Franco-Prussian War to protect the region from German invasion. Although it was not used until World War I, it was not helpful as the French had already abandoned the use of such fortresses as a military defense. The Germans easily overpowered the small garrison left at the fort when they staged a surprise attack at the start of the Battle of Verdun. The public in France demanded that the fort should be taken back as it was seen as a symbol of their nation, and so the French army eventually regained control of it in October 1916. But the battle was bloody and involved intensive shell attacks that hit the supplies of ammunition and grenades stored in the center of the fort. About 800 Germans were killed by the mix of toxic smoke and explosions. As the fort was under assault, the dead could not be buried outside and had to be put into one of the fort galleries and sealed in. Some of the skeletal remains are now buried in the fort cemetery and ossuary, but others remain forever walled within the building itself. I don't know about you, but the fact that so many brutally murdered bodies are present there, or whatever remains of them, is purely unsettling. St. Gerard's Hospital, which was located in Birmingham, UK, was originally built in the 1890s by the Father Hudson Society to provide medical care for poor children suffering from tuberculosis and other diseases. It served its purpose as an excellent hospital for nearly a century, until its sudden and unsettling closure in 1988. For around 30 years, the hospital stood abandoned before being demolished. One of the most notable aspects of St. Gerard's Hospital was that many of its contents were left behind, even after its closure. These included beds, wheelchairs, medical equipment, and even used syringes with dried blood. Additionally, the hospital contained x-rays, medical records, and even toys and coloring books belonging to the children who received treatment there. Despite being weathered over time, these items remained largely intact, which makes the entire situation even more creepy than it already is. After hearing these haunting stories of mysterious buildings, if given the opportunity, would you ever consider visiting one? It's definitely not meant for the weak-hearted, but if you ask me, I will be willing to give it a shot once so that I can boast about it later.